All right, guys, welcome in to Above Ground World News Live. This is the 16-day forecast Sunday night. Sunday night live. Here we go. We're going to jump in. We got tons of tornadic activity. I can assure you these storms have been fabricated. I'm looking at the mimic map, which I'm going to have to change the screens here in a minute. Complete manipulation from all aspects of our weather. We'll jump into that here in just a little bit. I got a couple articles we'll get into just real quick, and then we'll jump into the 16-day forecast, the weather plan. Anyway, hope everybody's doing okay out there. Let me get this on the right scene. All right, there we go. It looks like it's full screen. Looks like we're all ready to go. All right, just wanted to jump in a couple articles here, man. They got this weird exhibit. I can't talk tonight. I can't talk. Will soar. Anyway, down here in Union Street Station in Kansas City, they got this crazy. I don't even know what to call it, man. But it's some kind of art. And the guy that created this, he did some stuff out in the 2008 Beijing Olympics. But this is some weird stuff, man. This thing is gonna, let me get down here where it talks about. It's a reflecting motion. It's designed to synchronize movements of birds, schools of fish, or insects. The artwork will cover some 40,000 square feet and will rise and fall with the wind from 18 feet to 72 feet. And this thing, it requires 75,000 streamers of metallized holographic PET film on monolithic net, as well as 13,400 linear feet of rope. So this is kind of like the same material that they use for cloaking. But this is going to be, like, if you're underneath this thing, man, this is going to be some crazy looking stuff. You know, they're trying to come up with these things to deceive people. You know, they can make one with the chemtrails and everything else. And then they're going to lead, to all the crazy stuff. They're going to make you see things that really aren't there, man. That's part of the plan. These are just small scale. Some of this weird stuff that they're going on. Anyway, we just wanted to throw that one out there. And then out in Arkansas, unvaccinated students' illness forces peers to take antibiotics to go to school, to go to class. We're going to see more and more of this where they're going to force you to take the shot. Man, it's just, this is going to get bad. Pretty soon you won't be able to get a driver's license or nothing like that. One of the reasons why these storms have been all engineered is, people like what we're going to cover in this article here, this bioengineered, the U.S. Department of Agriculture announced a rule on the labeling of foods containing genetically engineered or GMO ingredients. So don't expect to see GMO on the package. There will also be BE on the foods, which stands for bioengineered food. Excuse me here. So they're going to, these labeling acts, man, they usually mean the opposite of what they are. This is President Obama signed this into law in 2016 to hide some of the ingredients when they are GMO. But what goes with this is just recently Bill Gates, he donated $15 million to a campaign pushing GMOs on small farmers around the world. So on the package, you'll say bioengineered food or contains bioengineered food. See, that's why they want to flood some of these countries out, just like ours in Australia. They want to push these GMO seeds, these drought-resistant seeds, these flood-resistant seeds. They want to give us all this Franken food, which will ultimately change our DNA. So just more crazy stuff that we got to look out for in this new world order agenda that's coming upon us. All right, so I want to take a quick look here. Let's go take a look real fast here and see what kind of watches and warnings we got going. I know we've had tons of tornado stuff going on. So let me get this to play, then we'll jump into the 16-day. Everybody should be growing. You should already have your seedlings growing in your house. We got one more cold spell coming in. And then we got to get this in the ground, whether it's wet or not, man, or grow it inside. You need to get some non-GMO seeds and start growing stuff yourself, because we can't trust any of the food that they're going to be trying to push on us. All right, so we got this going. I got the watches and warnings. Tons of tornado warnings popping off. Let me get this. So right now, parts of Texas, Louisiana, and now they're going into Mississippi. Tornado watches all through, Louisiana and Mississippi. So right there's the latest ones right there out by the coast there in Louisiana. Tons of thunder. And then we got the winter side of the storm that we'll be jumping into. Let's see if I can get the radar to play here. We get them watches and warnings off now that we got that. And then we're going to jump right into the 16-day here. Let me get that going. Yeah, hopefully nobody got hit by any damage. I didn't get time to, take a look at the damage. But, man, they got complete aerosols feeding this storm. When we get to the worldview map, this thing... Hey, thanks, sir, Matthew, out there. Bamboo. This thing is... they've been fabricating this system for like 3 or 4 days. This isn't a normal system. It's not spinning like a normal system. It's been completely manufactured, and we'll get into that. So before we get into the modified stuff, let's go ahead and take a look at our weather plan forecast. Hey, thanks there to Discover. All right, so we're going to jump into this 6 hours at a time. We're going to go up all the way up 16 days. We're going to check the Canadian model. After this, we'll check the temperature models. We'll check the precipitation amounts, because that's going to tell us who the targets are, where you don't want to be, because there's going to be flooding, and definitely for sure where the heavy tornadic storms and all that stuff's going to be. So here we go. Going into Monday, here's our 12-hour forecast. More severe storms for the same area. This system is not like moving, man. It's just spinning right there. In fact, they made it spin. All right, so we're just going on up into Wednesday here. I got to get back here. I'm real tired tonight, so I'm not real on top of it here. But so there's actually 2 low pressure systems. Actually 3, but these are the ones that are going to be affecting like up in Canada, down here in the southern parts, and you're just getting hammered time and time again up in California and Oregon. So I'm just going to scroll through 30 hours from now. This is going into Tuesday. Still on Tuesday. Here we go into Wednesday. So if we can make it to Wednesday with that severe stuff, it's pretty much going to be gone. But then you got the snow up in the Northeast. You got snow in the Dakotas, Wyoming. And watch this, man. We're going to have blizzard-type conditions for Iowa, Minnesota, South Dakota, on over to the west. Look at this thing, man. This thing's going to wrap up. This is a blizzard event. This is the same event that just happened, a couple weeks ago. This is the same scenario, pretty much same pressure, same winds, and we'll get into the total. We'll try to figure out how much snowfall is going to be hitting with this system. Look at that pressure drop, 981. This is basically a land cyclone. So we're going to be looking at mega winds with this, mega rains. And then here on Friday is when the severe side of this because it's going to be hitting the warmer air from the Gulf. Still a low pressure of 991. And it's still tracking across, still into Friday. So if we can get to Saturday without no tornadoes and stuff, it'll basically just be a flood event. But just think, man, a couple days after that, Saturday, April 13th, here comes the next wave in the exact same spots. So they're going to hit it. This is going to be a double whammy here. And this is going to be really, really heavy rains. Definitely probably some tornadoes. We'll have to check into the wind shears and stuff. But look at the severe rain here. This is the target, man. They're trying to flood this area out. We're going to be flooded all the way from Canada all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. So severe weather going all the way up into Monday, April 15th. And let's just keep on going here. Here we are on April 16th. Heavy rains for all the way up into Canada. Super heavy rains. So that pressure is going to stay pretty high up into Canada. And more rain right where we don't need the rain. We're not going to be able to plant this year. Already seen the same areas. I mean, we're in the dark greens there. That's like 4 inches of rain. This is Monday, April 22nd. And we're going to go all the way up into 23rd. So here's April 23rd. That's 16 days. Let's go ahead and check the Canadian model, see if they vary a little bit here. And then we're going to jump into total rainfall amounts and temperatures and winds. All right, so here we go. Now, the Canadian model, it doesn't go up 16 days. Hold on, let me get a drink here. All right, so here we go. Here we go up into Monday. Pretty much same thing, so showing the same pressure, same severe storms. So yeah, this one here is pretty much sticking to the plan. I want to get up here where the blizzard type. Yeah, this one here is showing same thing, man. We're looking at 6 inches of snow at least, but this is going to be a mega wind. This is going to be like a wind cyclone here. And look at where they're showing the severe weather up a lot higher north. Going up into Wisconsin, Detroit, and then right across the upper northeast. So that's going to be a pretty big time event. Then here's the next system. This is on the 14th. There's the next severe system. So we're definitely going to be in the springtime storms. Look, it's showing snow on April 15th for the Pennsylvania, New York. All right, let's take this one on up, okay, as far as it can go. Let me get this thing back to the GFS model. Now let's go ahead and check the total precipitation over the next 16 days. This is going to show you exactly where the targets are, where the flooding is going to be. Look at that. Look at that fine line there over there by California. That's them pulling the atmospheric river in. I mean, that's a pull line. Right here, this is where they're pulling the moisture in from the Gulf of Mexico. They're steering the atmospheric river. We know tons of companies that do this. Now watch when I scroll this forward. And we get way up into the feet of rain. Several inches of rain. So let me get this all the way up. So here we go. Here's the full 16 days of moisture. So the target's part of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, parts of northern Georgia, all the way up into West Virginia. And then look over here in Washington, Oregon, North California. And then right up here where we don't need any kind of more moisture. We got so much moisture up here up in Nebraska that the rivers are starting to flow backwards. So, not good. Anyway, they're definitely targeting us big time. I want to go ahead and check the temperatures. I think we got one more cold blast of air. Let's just see here with that blizzard type event. Haven't looked at this yet. Yeah, look at that cold. That's up around 4,000 foot up in the air, but I mean that's just the model we got to use. So if you're 4,000 foot up in the air, you know, in this pinks right here, we're looking at like minus 14, minus 16, round in there. Just a few thousand feet above the surface. So it's not going to take a whole lot for that cold air to drop down. It's going to feel really cold. And then we're going to have the major heating events. They're going to melt all the snow to add to the river totals, man. Not good, man. We got big time weather issues coming. Now, let me just see if I could get the wind on here. All right, so I want to kind of just scroll this forward just to... Yeah, that's going to pull off some tornadoes right there on the 8th. That storm that's coming in there. Look at all the rotation in the winds. Then, of course, we got our blizzard. Look at that 50-plus mile-an-hour winds with that blizzard system. These darks, man, that's off the chart. Could be over 50-mile-an-hour winds. Look at that. Centered right over Omaha, Nebraska, right where the flooding is right now. So this is definitely like a hurricane on land. Yeah, this is registering above the chart. All right, so that's going to be this big time wind starts. Okay, it's going to start around April 10th. April 11th, it's going to be really bad. All the way into the 12th. So tons of wind coming, guys. Big time wind coming with these storms. Which is just going to leave for more tornadic or possible tornadoes, you know, because you got all the wind for it to work with. All right, so we're probably done with that. So I want to take a look at this storm. You know, we already know they're pulling this atmospheric river up. We'll be able to see that in the mimic map. But just check out this fabricated storm. And when we zoom in here, we can see all the cloud seeding operations. I can click the different, pull them out. See all the X patterns. You can see the color of the synthetic clouds. The cloud. Now when I scroll it back here, now watch when I go back a day. Let me get this where I had it. Okay, so let me go forward. Let me go back. The storm was fabricated right here in place. We go back here to the 5th. It was already here. And let's see if I can get the 4th to load. May not load. We'll give it a second. All right, so it's not going to load. So anyway, starting here on the 5th, probably the 4th, this system was already parked here, and we had cloud seeding operations all the way from the equator over Mexico, all the way up to the East Coast. Come up to the 6th, they were still cloud seeding all around us and in the Gulf of Mexico. Then get up to today and look at it. It turned into like a cyclone. So these are any damage from these storms. It's because it was man-made. It was man-affected, man-manipulated. It was parked there. Check this out. We go to the mimic map. And I've already shown all the companies that steer these atmospheric rivers. It's not something new. This is something they've been doing since the 90s. You know, our mainstream don't admit to it. But you can go, just like the companies we showed last week. The one I always use a lot is Miles Research Company out of Australia. He just put the file through. We can see a V shape gets cut out of this system, which is pure manipulation right there. And they just are pulling this moisture up. This moisture usually goes on up around and then sweeps up, but they're stopping it. They're pulling it all right on into the Gulf of Mexico, and then they blasted it right there. And you can see they're pulling the atmospheric river in a perfect straight line right into this North California-Oregon border. It's been going for months now. So these are definitely being affected by the weather makers. So yeah, man, that's just crazy. Let's see if I got the rest of these loaded. Yeah, man, it's so blatant everything they're doing. I mean, you can tell these are not like normal storm systems. Not one of them. At least none of them, at least these two, are not normal at all. We can jump up here. We can see in Massachusetts and Connecticut, New York, heavy aerosols, Toronto, heavy aerosols, Ontario, heavy aerosols, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, all through this cloud cover. They're going to pull the storm right on up. Where you see the cloud seeding operations, that's where the storm's going. We see it every single day. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. Just kind of getting through here. Looked at Cyclone Wilson or whatever it is out here. Hey, thanks, Shad. It's been out here for like a week. It's just not moving. Yeah, and like I was talking about, the Miles Research Company, he put the fires out down here in Tasmania using the technique of ground-based radars to use electromagnetics. Basically what they do is they target the high pressure systems, just like they're doing here off the West Coast. Our dams are all old. We got tons of moisture. Big time spring operation in Nevada, in Las Vegas, over Los Angeles, San Diego. Where we're not seeing spring, where they normally do, right here in the Bajas over Mexico, is completely clear. Probably the first clear time we've seen it this clear in months. Look at this. They're spraying the upper system too. South Dakota, North Dakota, Wyoming, Montana. And the spraying operation goes all the way up into Canada. So yeah, man, plenty of severe storms coming. They also pulled this atmospheric river right up into Uruguay. They've been flooding Brazil and all these places down there. Same stuff, same technology. Same thing here in Europe. You got the EAU. They do this. They use the same thing. They got all kinds of cloud ionizers and all that stuff. We got tons of the antenna arrays all over the planet. Hell, Ukraine has a big one, almost as big as Hart. All right, so let's go ahead. Let me change the layer on this one. Yeah, we take a quick look here at the radars. And you can see them using these radars to affect the moisture. When these things bloom out, if the rain's coming, that either slows the rain down or it keeps it like pushed up. Or if the rain's already passed, they turn them up. That's to push the systems off a little bit faster. If they're not on, that's where they want the moisture to come. You can see they got the next threads pretty much turned off, where they want the moistures to come. And they're totally using these next rad to steer. You can see tons of beams shooting out of these things. Like this one here in Louisiana, they fired up to push it off a little bit, give it a little bit more rotation. Look at this one beaming out over here right on the border of Georgia and Florida, man. That thing's definitely in military mode. So I'm going to be wondering what all this water weight. I'm still waiting for it to set off some earthquakes. We've had one possible one down in Georgia from the floods. So still waiting to see if that comes out. Not that we want it to. I just really want to see if that might happen. Anyway, let's see here. I want to check this radar too. All right, so I got that one pretty well documented. Nah, these radio frequencies are kicking her butt, man. They're going to kick her butt. So this, let me get this on here. Get that shut down. I'm trying to get all these things that we don't need down, so... Whoa, what the world? Okay. Yeah, I wish this would let me load up a lot more than 200 frames. So, yeah, Arizona, Georgia. Yep, you're right. You know, that's why I say when you go back and look at like when they built the dams, a bunch of earthquakes had gone off from the weight of the water, you know, holding water back. I mean, we're getting so much water, some of these rivers are running backwards or starting to. That happened like back in 1812 when the New Madrid earthquake, the big one, it made the rivers run backwards. So, wow, like this storm, like that's 100% just manipulated. Let me zoom in on this thing a little better. Let's try that one right there. Not looking forward to work tomorrow. All right, so yeah, we're definitely gonna just kind of watch this, documenting. Look at the cloud seeding operations there in the Gulf of Mexico, if you can see that. Tons of X patterns all in that system. They were sprayed at different levels, so they were making damn sure they got this system going. This is completely man-made right there. Let me get down here where you guys can see the Gulf of Mexico here. Wow, look at that long liner down there. Oh, wow. Look at the spraying operation over Florida, over the Gulf of Mexico, down over the Caribbeans. Boy, that is really blatant right there. You can't say that's a normal flight path. Yeah, you can definitely see they were spraying at different levels. Look at this big liner underneath. There was a super low spray. We're talking a big one too, right there, if you guys can see my mouse. Remember the big fat white liners come in over Florida, over the Gulf of Mexico. Look at that, look at that. They were like in a panic mode spray. Look at this guy here come up and turned. Mega spraying right there. So somehow that spraying has probably helped push and recycle that moisture up to feed it right up into that system. Wow, that's pretty bad right there. Let's go ahead and check way up in the northeast just to... We know they're going to be getting sprayed. Wow, look at this spraying operation here. You know, if all air traffic was halted, we'd probably all have blue skies. It would probably be actual springtime. We wouldn't be having this hot, cold stuff. We all wouldn't be sick from all this stuff. So, wow, yeah. No break for anybody. Hell, let's try way up here. Yep, spraying up into Ontario, up into Canada. All right, let's go ahead and go check where all the storms are on the west coast. Look at that. You see they're spraying above the clouds. Wow, what's wrong with the... That's weird right there. Look, there's no data. They're like hiding over 2 hours of data right here. I see something flying in. Hold on. Wow, that's pretty strange. Ooh, right where I seen something flying in there. Look at all the trails. So they're definitely seeding right where they want it to hit, man. Target zone. Northern California. They're going to take Northern California down. Oregon's in the same boat. Look at that. Just trail after trail after trail. Amazing that they're doing all this. Let's try Southern California. What, did I not click it? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, all these you're right there, Radical. All these trails has got everybody's anxiety up. Everybody's respiratory infections up. So yeah, they're spraying so hard over here. Hey, thanks there, Rhonda. So nobody, I wonder if there's even a state not getting sprayed today. I don't know. It looks like everybody is. Take that off. Man, you could just tell that's a fake storm. What is this square signature in there? Wow, look, there was the blast. Same thing on the mimic map. Whoa, look at that. You know what? That's the data, what it should look like right there. So of all the data in this, there's the one frame is what it's supposed to look like where you get the cloud heights. But yet they smear it. They're smearing the data so you can't really see the cloud heights. But look at all the aerosols up there. So we really get one good frame. This is the frame that they're getting. They skipped one, so they accidentally let us have one good frame. That's pretty crazy. Look, this thing ain't even spinning like a normal storm. Man, that's pretty wild right there. Get into some other stuff tomorrow night, but yeah, got to think about the GMO mosquitoes coming and all that stuff. Anyway, guys, much love out there. We will catch you tomorrow night, God willing. And here we go. Let's hit the exit screen with Raj. I'm getting so tired I can't talk right. So anyway, guys, much love. We will talk to you tomorrow. No fear. We got this.